that's on the back of their shirts. They said they wanted to create change, and this is them creating change. Postponing or boycotting games, they're pretty much taking away the sense of entertainment from us until we figure out what's going on in the social issue. And that's the way that I've been looking at it all morning.
And we knew this was coming. Obviously, as an African American, you have to be happy, I guess, pleased. I don't know the words. I want you to talk about the story and tell me how you feel.
It's not really it's not a sense of happiness because somebody had to lose their life again for it to get to this point, but it's a sense of okay, now people are actually going to wake up and see this is not just a game. We're taking people's lives. We're not being the best people that we need to be to each other, and I think that get lost in the aspect of the NBA and even the MLB. They postponed games today too. So I think like I said, the way I look at it is when you were a kid and you're playing with your toys and you do something wrong and your mom takes your toys away from you. That's your punishment until you figure out what you did wrong and how can you actually address the issue and not let it happen again. But this has just been a reoccurring issue that's been going on for as long as we know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Shaiki, when you look at, so a few months ago in May, we had the George Floyd shooting and everything really kind of blew up from there as far as, look, the NBA wants to come back, but like you mentioned, they're going to have the Black Lives Matter on the floor. They're going to have names and slogans on the backs of their shirts. The WNBA's been very outspoken as well. And now it's one of those deals where they finally, I think the NBA players said, enough is enough. And like you said, we're not going to go out and play for entertainment until something's done. How long do you think this walkout lasts?
I honestly couldn't even tell you. I feel I was looking at interviews today on TV, and I know that there's some NBA players that just want to leave the bubble in general.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's playoff time, so I feel like maybe honestly, I think the season might not finish for the NBA. I don't know about any other season, but I don't think the NBA season will finish just because there's every player in that league is outspoken about what they feel like and what they want to see with change and all that. Like from LeBron James being the top guy to Donovan Mitchell to Kyle Korver and all those guys are just speaking their mind and letting know this isn't right. We need to change something.
And is this? Yeah, I don't. Oh, go ahead.
I don't think the season. I just don't think the season. I don't think the season would finish. I just don't see. I don't see a league that is predominantly black finishing with all the social injustice that's going on in America right now.
And obviously, that's not a bad thing. If you are a member of the NBA or if you are a fan of the NBA, obviously you'd like to see the season come to a completion with a champion. But this is bigger than basketball, and that's the slogan, or not the slogan, but that's been all over social media today. Is this now is bigger than basketball? And finally, this is like the '68 Olympics. Things are happening, and it's not just talk anymore.
Mhm. Yeah, this is not. I know we try to get lost in it because they're millionaires, they're living their lives, they're doing the best things they can do and stuff. But it's bigger than basketball. They have to wait. Like LeBron James says, he has kids, he has black sons. I have a son, that's going to have to grow up in this world and one day he might be approached by a police officer, and I'm going to have to teach him what to do, what to say, what not to do, what not to say. And it just comes down to it's bigger than basketball. It's bigger than what we actually see day to day. There's just more to it. There's more behind the scenes stuff to it too.
Well, and being in Montana, and I talked about this in June, Shaiki, is I don't want to say we're in a bubble, but we're kind of protected from the bigger news of what's going on. Being in Montana, how can you make a change? How can we make a change? Because, Montana's a little bit different than a lot of other parts of the country.
Yeah, being in Montana, I've been here since 2002 because my parents were military and stuff. But we're definitely, we're in a bubble. We have the luxury of not being, You know, like we didn't have any dramatic protests and rioting and all that stuff and all that. But I think for me personally, my biggest platform I have is like my social media, and I try to put something on that every day that has something to do with, you know, what's going on and ways we can help with different organizations and petitions and all that. And that, for me personally, that's all I can do. I'm not the type to go out and go stand on the middle of 10th Avenue South with the microphone and speak my heart out, screaming this is wrong, this is right, and all that stuff. So I just try to just stay on the social media. And I know a lot of my friends and my former teammates and stuff they do the same thing.
You've been around the country, but like you said, being military, being in Great Falls for the last almost 2 decades, and then in Dillon, what was the big difference really from Great Falls to Dillon being a black guy?
It wasn't really a big difference. I mean, obviously the size difference, and you know, there's just the sense of a small town community that everybody has their backs and stuff. That's honestly what I like more about Dillon than I do Great Falls. Great Falls is kind of its own little sections of areas and stuff where people know each other and all that. But I love Dillon. Dillon was the best. However many years I was there, I think it was 7 years of my life. So.
Shikey Smalls, our guest here, Mike Miller, State Farm Hotline. As a white guy, I can't comment on anything. Because if I do, it could be, you know, offensive, and it's not supposed to be offensive. But you know, when a black guy is shot by the cops, is there an overreaction that it's automatically a bad? I mean, it's a bad thing no matter what. Yeah, and I want this to come out the right way, but without having facts, are we jumping to conclusions at times? And I'm not talking about George Floyd or James Blake or any of this, but are we jumping to conclusions at times without having evidence? And is that a problem for society, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, of course, we always jump to a conclusion without evidence. Like a lot of the times, we only see snippets of video. You know what I mean? We only see the shooting. We don't see what happened 5 minutes or 2 minutes, even 30 seconds before that. We just see somebody running away with bullets being shot out in their back, or they're facing off an officer with bullets shot in their abdomens and all that. So we don't know what the whole story is until it ever comes out, and we don't know if it will ever come out.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just because things aren't being charged or people aren't being charged, all that. So yeah, like I don't think we'll ever know the real story until, you know, investigations are done. They're done the right way, and they're not just pushed through the system so certain people can get off and certain people can get charged and all that.
And let me ask you this, because as a white guy, like I said, I literally can't comment on anything without it sounding like I'm being anti-movement or racial. What can I do? What would you recommend to your white friends like myself that says, how can I ask questions without sounding like it's anti-movement or anti, being a racist, and I'm not?
Well, you have a pretty good platform with your talk show and stuff, and I just feel like, yeah, like you said, like whatever you say, people are going to take the wrong way. But I think that's the society we live in today. Like people are always going to look for the bad in something that we say and try to flip our words and all that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I feel like for that, I think you just use your platform, and like I'm big on speaking my mind. Like I don't care. Honestly, I don't even care what people think about me anymore. That was, you know what I mean? Like I would love to be a role model, and I know I'm a role model and all that, but I'm always speak my mind and how I feel about things. And I just think everybody should just speak their mind how they feel about things. Because I mean, honestly, if the truth is out, then the truth is out. You don't have nothing to hide anymore. So people know who you are and what you stand for. So just be true to yourself, honestly.
No, and I appreciate that. And I am, but when I'm asking, like now, like for me to be able to ask you questions without it sounding racial, it's almost to where we can't in this society, in this day and age, where I can't talk to you without being a racist. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't, and I don't like that. I don't like that feeling at all.
Yeah, I think that also comes back to like, I think it's how people perceive you. Like I know you're a great guy. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
so you can ask me. you know. So you can ask me whatever you want. So I'm not gonna take it. I'm not gonna take it to heart like that. I'm not saying, oh my God, I'm not gonna call my mom and be like, hey, I've just been interrogated on the radio and all that, and I felt, no, that's not me. 'Cause I know you're trying to learn and understand, and you have a deep passion to try to figure out what's going on, and from my point of view, you know what I mean?
Sure.
So, so from other people, it's like, so from other people, I don't know. That's kind of hard. That's a good question to ask. But I just think it's about how you carry yourself, and I think you should let people know like what you stand for and what you're about, because then they'll understand that, like, okay, he's not trying to push this because he has an agenda. He just wants to genuinely learn and find out ways he can help and make things better.
Like I mentioned to you, I had a Ife College IA on, former Carroll guy that you went up against multiple times.
Love Ife.
Ife was great. And then I had Anthony Owens on, who was a coach at Providence or UGF back in June, when all of the latest stuff started happening. And it was insightful conversations, and it was eye-opening at times. But again, it was like talking with you. It was, I want you to be able to tell the story. And I asked this question of them too. And I know that Black Lives Matter is the slogan, and the All Lives Matter comes out, and then it's a racial thing, and everybody's pissed off at each other then. I get the BLM side. How can we come as a society to recognize that it's not just black or brown or white, or it's just, how can we finally just get along like Rodney King said back in the day?
Yeah, I think that's what is so difficult about what's going on now, because like you say, we do have the Black Lives Matter movement, and then we have the All Lives Matter movement, and then we have the Blue Lives Matter movement. You know what I'm saying? So I think when it comes to stuff like that, with the Black Lives Matter, people got to understand that we're not saying that just because I'm black, my life matters more than yours. We're saying because I'm black, my life matters just as much as yours. You know what I mean?
Sure.
If there was cops out here killing white guys, then we would say white lives matter just as much as black lives. But that's not where we're at. So we're trying to get on a level playing field in life, coming from a black person. That's how I feel about the movement. We're just trying to get on a level playing field to wake people up and say all lives matter. But right now it doesn't, because blacks are starting from the bottom and working our way up.
Shaky Small's our guest here on the Jason Walker Show. 4 years ago today, Colin Kaepernick knelt for the first time, or sat down during the anthem for the first time, and it's kind of a historic day as far as what happened 4 years ago, and then what's going on today with the NBA, and they're walking out of the playoff games. To be completely honest, I never understood until I really talked to Ife a few months ago about this. I'm not a fan of standing up against the anthem or against and I know that now is not what it was about. It was about standing out against the norm and speaking out against what's normal, which was you stand up for the national anthem. Did you ever, in your playing days, consider and talk to your teammates over the last, when you were still playing, about sitting?
No, not really. I mean, for me, like, I'm not gonna tell a lie, but there was times where, and it wasn't even about the whole kneeling or about anything. There's times that we're coming out of the locker room, because in the Frontier they only do the national anthem one time. That's in the girls' game. Before, so when we were coming to the locker room, we hear the national anthem. We would just turn back around and go in our locker room, because we didn't want to be out there or just be standing out in the middle of nowhere while the anthem's been playing. And that was not we weren't trying to be disrespectful to America or to anybody, to the veterans or anything. Like I said, my mom is military and she still works for the Air Force and all that. So it wasn't about being disrespectful. Just we just didn't want to be, I guess, out there doing the music. But I remember going into I think my junior year before our first game, we were in our pregame with Coach Keller, and he told us hey, we're going to stand. He told us his reasons why he felt like that, and we should stand. And we weren't going to disagree. We just wanted to play basketball,
right?
Because it was so early on and what was going on and what was understood. But yeah, I've never considered kneeling or anything for national anthem. Honestly, the national anthem really is just a song that's played before sporting events for me that honors the people that have lost lives and gave us our freedom that we have today. So I've always like respected that and all that. But for me growing up, like when I was like a young and immature sophomore and junior in college, and I would turn around and go and sit in the locker room until the song's over because I didn't want to be out there. But now, I stand up and all that.
What's your thought, Shaiki, on the NFL that comes out and said they're going to run 2 national anthems this year? Should we just not do any? Because, just what's your thoughts on that?
I think the NFL is trying to do too much to please everybody. Honestly, I don't understand what 2 national anthems are going to change from one. I don't know. I heard that NFL teams weren't even out on the field for national anthems until a certain time during probably 2006 or something like that. So I just don't understand what's going on. But I know they make a lot more money and they have a lot more stuff they have to line out and dot their I's and cross their T's for and stuff. So I really don't have anything to speak on that. But I just think they're trying to do too much. And I honestly, I can see them boycotting too. I can see players walking out and teams not playing games and all that.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to end today with what the NBA decided to do. With that, real quick follow up on the anthem. Could you see, this is just because you have the United States national anthem, the Star Spangled Banner, which has caused a lot of this with Colin Kaepernick. Like I said, and 4 years ago today, he sat down for the first time. Could you see a bigger problem if they call it the Black national anthem, if white people or white players do the same thing for that flag and that anthem? Or do you think would it happen in general?
I think just in general, but I think it'll be worse if you add a color or phrase before it. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, that's what that's what the NFL said. It's going to be the Black national anthem, and I just if white players sit down for that song, does that cause more problems?
Yeah, I hope Roger's a little bit smarter than that.
Well, it's Roger Goodell we're talking about, right?
Yeah, I hope he's a little smarter than that not to do that. But yeah, I think anytime you put race into something, it's going to be a problem, regardless. You know what I mean? You can call it the white national anthem, you can call it the Mexican national anthem, you can call it whatever. People are going to be offended. People are going to feel the type of way, regardless.
Sure. What do you think can happen here in the next few days and long term with what the NBA and possibly MLB is going to be doing?
I think you're going to see a lot more. You're going to see a lot more players speak out. A lot more players join protests and start different petitions and start different awareness for what's going on. For the MLB, I really don't know. I'm not a big baseball guy, but I know there's some players that they want to make a change because they understand that there's a lot of social injustice that is going on in America. But yeah, for the NBA, I just think that I don't know. I just really don't see the season finishing. So I feel like we had our fun. Now we have to deal with the reality in the world. Because I know having the game and stuff back kind of felt like everything was back to normal because of Corona, and all that stuff. But now we're back to the actual reality of Corona and social injustice.
Shaiki Smalls, I guess, a couple final questions for you. Let's switch gears. What was the favorite game you played in the Frontier Conference?
Favorite game? I would say the overtime game against Carroll.
The one at Western, the double OT game?
Oh, we did play double OT games.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay. I'll say the double OT game at Western also tied with the big comeback we had when we played at Carroll.
Yeah, when you guys was it 41-18, and then you and Dom decided to just go off?
Yeah, that was the only time Coach Keller didn't say anything at halftime. He just said, "What do you guys want to do?" And we just said, "Let's just go hoop." And he actually let us hoop.
The one time that he wasn't coaching, I love it.
Yeah, the one time he didn't say anything to us, and it was a fun game. It was a fun bus ride.
That was your senior year, right? Because Dom was a junior. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Because you guys were just lighting it up, man. And you're down 41-18. Because I remember sitting next to you guys' bench, and you guys decided. I thought, oh, they're going to throw in the towel here, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh no, they're going to come back and blow this door wide open, and you guys did. That was a great game to call. for me, for sure.
Me and Z talk about that, and all those guys. They were actually here in June. They stayed with me for a couple weeks, and we just started reminiscing. That was fun time.
Favorite gym to play in the Frontier, besides Western?
Favorite gym to play in? I like LC's gym.
Oh,
I like the big open space and the standard hoops that aren't hanging from the ceiling.
Okay. The ones that actually were not 10 feet on the home. It would have been your second half.
Oh yeah.
Did you remember that?
Yeah. Yeah.
They were off a couple inches. Worst gym
I still never got a dunk. Still never got a dunk at that gym for some reason, even though the rims were 9.5.
Well, it's the elevation. You couldn't jump as high down there, I guess, because I think it's lower elevation.
It was that 20-hour bus ride. My knees were bad.
That is true. That is true. Plus, you were one of the older guys too. Worst gym to play in.
Worst gym to play in. I'm not a big fan of Tech's gym, just because those hooligans are literally right there. So I've been poked, I've been grabbed at doing warm ups, and we do our little layup lines. I've been poking the shoulder with a little bat thingy, and it's like, geez, let's get this game started. Get me out of here. But,
oh man. Yeah. Okay, I got to ask you this, and so you got to be careful because we can't tell a really. It's got to be arable. But your favorite Coach Keller story.
Oh my goodness, we don't have time. We got to do another show for this. No, Coach Keller. I got to be arable. What story do I have? Me and him have gotten into a lot of shouting matches.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say one that is probably PG-13. We weren't having a very good practice, and that's when we were working. That was like the first week we were working on our zone, and Dom kept letting the ball get into the high post because he's only like 4'11". So I'm like, well, what are we gonna do? So I'm like, what are we gonna do? So for some reason, I got into a shouting match. Coach Keller takes me out of the practice, and he puts in Derek DeRocher. Derek DeRocher lets the ball go into high post, and I looked at Coach Keller and I was like, well, he's doing it too. And he just flipped, and he like, leave, get out of here. Like, he kicked me out of practice. So me being the smart ass that I am, I say, okay, like whatever. I'm gonna go home and play Xbox. So I sprint to the locker room. I'm taking off all my stuff, and I hear him coming behind me. And I'm just like, oh my goodness. And he comes in the locker room, and he yelled at me like he was my dad, and I was like, geez, I shouldn't say anything. Like, I shouldn't have, yeah. But yeah, as much as I say, like, listen to Coach Keller, it's kind of hard to not say something back to him.
Right.
But then if you don't say something back to him, he feels like you don't care. So you like have to say something back to him. But then if you do say something back to him, he's just gonna keep going. So you just can't win with him. You can't win with him at all.
Oh, that is fantastic, Shaky. We got to get you back on just to have Coach Keller stories.
Yeah, we need to do that. We need a whole podcast of that. We got 5 years with that crazy guy.
Well, and then now, being a part of the family, that's got to be hard too, right?
Yeah, that was, yeah.
Was that harder because of the whole situation with, essentially he was like a dad, almost.
Yeah, it was our moments. Like he knows what to say and how to say things to get under your skin and get you going. So sure. Yeah, some stuff was said, but it's life. Yeah, that's it. I'm just leaving it at that.
But the family's good, right? I mean, everything's going great. Your kid is, you think 5 months old. It could be, he could be 2 years for all you know. You don't have a clue.
Well, he's built like a 3-year-old right now, so I don't know.
Where did that size come from? Because you're not a super big dude.
Yeah, I don't know. He's a big guy. He might not touch he might not touch a basketball.
You gonna put him in football?
Yeah, straight football.
Very nice, very nice. Hey, appreciate the time, appreciate the insight, and I'll have to get you back on, like I said, when we can have some more fun. And take care of that family, and stay in touch.
Yeah, thanks. No, you too. Thanks for everything. I love what you're doing. I'd love to be back on anytime. Let me know.
Absolutely, my man. We'll chat with you soon.
All right, you guys have a good day.
Yeah, you too. That is Shikey Smalls joining us here on the Jason Walker Show. What a great dude. Great kid. And he brought up that game against Carroll at the PE Center. And, I'm doing that game and with Gary Turcotte, and I thought Carroll's going to blow the doors off of these guys. And it was 41-18 with like 5 minutes to play in the first half. And then all of a sudden you look down and Western's on like a 25-2 run, and they just opened a can of whoop ass in the second half. And Carroll didn't know what hit them. But those games, Carroll men and Western men for a couple of years, unbelievable. Just the atmosphere, the feeling in the game. I mean, just sitting on the court side and watching the intensity of all those players, it was so much fun. And so, and as much as as a Carroll radio guy at the time, you want Carroll to win, but you're rooting for guys like Shikey Smalls and Dom Robinson because they were just great basketball players and great people. And it was fun to watch those games and be a part of from just a little bit as I was. So appreciate Shikey joining us here on the Mike Miller State Farm Hotline. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We have our COVID update. Jefferson County schools, are they going to play Friday night? We'll tell you next here on the Jason Walker Show, presented by Capital Collision Center.
New vehicles keep coming, and Capital Collision Center keeps earning certifications to repair them. They're Helena's newest GM-certified facility. No matter the make or year, they repair your car to manufacturer's standards and requirements, maintaining its safety and value. Montana state law says it's your vehicle and it's your choice where you have it repaired. Choose Capital Collision Center, certified in GM, Subaru, and Nissan, and Helena's only shop certified in Honda, Acura, and Ford. When you value safety, go to Capital Collision Center on Euclid.
Store-wide savings are what you'll find when you shop for new home furnishings at Rucker's Furniture. This means tremendous values on Helena's largest in-stock selection of home furnishings. When you shop Rucker's, you'll find store-wide savings on the furniture you want for every room in your home. And you'll also find our selection of Serta iComfort, the most comfortable beds in Helena. 12-month financing is available with approved credit on most purchases over $289. Ask for details. You'll find store-wide savings at Rucker's Furniture, 1010 Dearborn, Helena.
Yes, it's true that Montana is a long way from the Gulf Coast, but you can bring that Cajun flavor home with a stop at Cafe Zydeco. From po' boys to classic sandwiches, Cafe Zydeco has all the best Cajun in town. Are you in the mood for seafood gumbo or crawfish etouffee? Maybe you're craving jambalaya with some shrimp and grits. Head in for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or call ahead for pickup or delivery. Cafe Zydeco will fix all your southern cravings, even on a chilly Montana day. Cafe Zydeco is a proud sponsor of The Jason Walker Show. Have you thought about buying a home and just don't know where to begin? Well, when it comes to one of the most important purchases one can make, we understand it can be frustrating and confusing, but it doesn't have to be. Let the Major Mortgage team help you with all your mortgage needs. Major Mortgage means major service, and we would love the opportunity to help you today. Give J.R. McFadden, NMLS number 1246357, a call today at 406-465-1918. Or you can visit him at 2001 11th Avenue, Building A, Suite 3 in Helena. Major Mortgage is a division of AMCAP Mortgage, NMLS number 129122, equal housing lender. Do you love to look at photos of Montana, from animals to landscapes and more? Are you looking for a place to get your senior pictures or family portraits done? Are you a business owner looking to upgrade the decor in your offices? Well, look no further than Mark LaRoe Photography. Mark has been shooting beautiful photos all across the Treasure State, from rodeos to portraits, and would love to work with you. Visit marklaroephotography.com to see many masterpieces of his work, then give him a call to schedule your own photo shoot. Or to purchase one of his fantastic pieces, stop by Spirit of the Big Sky Gallery on Custer in Helena. marklaroephotography.com.
Welcome back to the Jason Walker Show.
Welcome back, Major Mortgage Man Cave. Jason Walker Show, presented by Capital Collision Center. Today's complicated vehicles have all sorts of safety features, and Capital Collision Center has spent a lot of money and time and special training to become manufacturer certified for a multitude of vehicles. And they have a repair manual from the manufacturers that tell you step by step how to repair each and every piece and minute detail of a vehicle. Just happened with my truck. They did a great job. Capital Collision Center on Euclid. Customer service, relationships, local family business. You are looking live thanks to EarthCam at Houston, Texas, as they await Hurricane Laura, Category 4 now. Remember we talked to Janice Dean yesterday from Fox News, the senior meteorologist, and she was saying it could potentially be a Cat 3. It has increased to a Cat 4. They're talking unsurvivable storm surge across the Gulf Coast. So if we have, a friend of ours, a reporter, Amy, down in New Orleans, and family, friends, family, all people down there, man, stay safe. And be smart. Speaking of being smart, some were not at a school in Montana over the weekend. There was a house party Saturday night. There were members of 5 different athletic teams. Okay? These kids in college need to realize how much time and effort coaches, administrators, trainers, everybody's putting in to get them on campus, to have a potential for even a spring season at this point. Let alone, most are not going to have a fall season. But this is a college in Montana. I won't tell you which one. But there were student athletes from 5 different sports at this house party on Friday night. Think about that. And then you have football players on social media telling students, the regular students, don't screw this up for us. Well, if student athletes are the ones out partying too, you're going to screw it up for yourselves. Let's see. Hardin Public Schools reported a student came into contact with school staff and students, was diagnosed with COVID yesterday. School began today, but they had some contact, it appears, on Monday. This is kind of asinine to me, where billing schools, so according to the Montana Standard, where I read this, the notifications from Hardin and Shepherd last week, Shepherd, remember, closed for a couple of days this week after having a positive test. But billing school, Superintendent Greg Upham said Wednesday, there will be no widespread notification of positive cases in the district beyond contact tracing conducted by Riverstone Health. That could change if there's a cluster of cases, he said. But I think people need to know if there's going to be COVID in the schools. I mean, we all know it's going to happen. But we need to know which schools, how many cases. But love Mr. Upham, but I think that's kind of out there. Speaking of Jefferson and Whitehall, Jefferson County Health Department. The Jefferson Panthers, Whitehall Trojans will not be playing non-conference football or volleyball this season. Jefferson football and Whitehall were supposed to start Friday. Is that right? Yeah. Jefferson was set to play Florence, Huntley, and Big Fork. 3 huge games. The first 3 weeks of the season for non-conference. That's not going to happen now. Students also, uniformed home participants will be given 2 tickets to use at sporting events. Jefferson and Whitehall will play a non-conference football game at Whitehall September 4th, and then they'll play a conference game at Boulder on October 2nd. Speaking of our COVID numbers, 162 new cases today, 847 in Yellowstone County. 191 in Bighorn, 142 at Rosebud, and 119 up at Flathead, 92 in Cascade. Numbers keep growing. 125 currently in the hospital. We've had 1,704 active cases, 4,983 recovered, 98 deaths. And we talked about it yesterday with the high school track or cross country program at Deer Lodge and Helena High having positive cases, and those seasons have been suspended until everybody's safe. Good news, though, here. Jess Lockwood cleared to ride at the PBR Billings in 2 weeks. September 11th and 12th, I think it is. So 3 weeks, whatever it is. But Jess Lockwood's back from injury, which is good. Always enjoy watching him ride. And I think that was about it. All right, let's get to on this day in history. It is August the 26th. It is Cherry Popsicle Day. It is National Dog Day. It is National Web Mistress Day, and it's not what you think. It is honoring women who develop web projects. So it's a very cool thing, and it's also Women's Equality Day. On this date in 1903, the Phillies walked 17 Dodgers in a game. This date in 1916, Philadelphia A's Joe Bush pitched the no-hitter. 1962, Jack Kralik of the Twins pitched the no-hitter. 1971, Bobby Orr signed a 5-year contract with the Boston Bruins. $1 million contract, the first in NHL history. 1991, Brett Saberhagen of the Royals tossed a no-hitter. We had a no-hitter last night for the White Sox. Dude threw like 101 pitches and pitched a no-hitter. That's awesome. Happy birthday today. 1909, Jim Davis was born. He played Jock Ewing in Dallas. He also was in Big Jake with John Wayne. But he was born on this date in 1909. He passed away in 1981. Ola Ray was born on this date in 1960. She was a Playboy Playmate, June 1980. American model. She played the girlfriend of Michael Jackson in the Thriller video. She was born in St. Louis, Missouri, on this date, 1960. Can you believe that? I mean, you think about it. The girl in the Thriller video is 50 years old today. Amazing. Chris Burke, the actor, Corky in Life Goes On, was born on this date, 1965. On this date in 1973, the University of Texas at Arlington was the first accredited school to offer belly dancing. And on this date in 1974, Charles Lindbergh passed away at the age of 72. Let's do... Well, hold on. I'm all over the place now. I still need a producer. Let's do this.
We're almost at the end of the show. What did we learn? And what did he miss? Time for the walk-off.
We learned that today is a landmark day in sports history. The NBA players, starting with the Milwaukee Bucks, Orlando Magic, along with the other 2 playoff games today, they were postponed, but the NBA players walked out. It's not a strike, but they walked out in support of social and racial justice. And we don't know how long this is going to last. There's talk that the Milwaukee Brewers were going to sit out tonight and walk out of their game as well. And it was did not get any updates on that, but looking for it as we speak. But I would not be surprised. We talked to Shikey Smalls today, the former Western Bulldog, who offered fantastic outlook and great insight as an African American in Montana. And one of the smartest dudes you'll ever talk with. And if you missed anything, I believe we'll get it up on the show page later today. NBA players are meeting at 6 tonight to discuss what yet they're going to do. If they're going to continue in the bubble down in Orlando. A lot of players, especially at Toronto, want to just leave it and go home. And the Mariners Padres is still in discussion to be postponed tonight. It looks like we're going to see a lot of postponements tonight as professional athletes start to walk out and walk off. So the Brewers did cancel with the Cincinnati Reds tonight. And more teams are discussing not playing. And the Mariners are a big one because they, according to Jeff Passan, have the most black players of any team in the MLB. So this is something we're going to keep an eye on throughout the course of the next few weeks. Jacob Blake shooting a couple of days ago, and now we're seeing NBA players walk out of the playoffs. And New York Met Dom Smith, who is African-American, took a knee today during the national anthem of the Mets game. We are going to take the next couple of days off. It is birthday week. Birthday is Sunday, but it is birthday weekend, so we're going to enjoy that. And we will be back on Tuesday next week with great guests lined up. Barry Abrams is going to join us next week. Barry Abrams is our resident guru when it comes to horse racing. Got the Kentucky Derby coming up on September the 5th, so we'll talk to Barry. You have college football this weekend. Central Arkansas is playing Austin Peay. Austin Peay going for its 300th career win, or school win, but there's football. We'll see how long it lasts. And we'll see if they get to play. Will college athletes start walking out of games as well? Which we're seeing on the NBA and Major League Baseball tonight. All right, let's see. Thanks to Shikey Smalls. Thanks to Mark Ader for joining us, the Bozeman Athletics or Activities Director. Got the insight on why they went with allowing 2 fans in the stands. And I brought this up. Will we see students in the stands? Because this is a big thing. You talk about the high school experience. And now these kids that love to go watch sporting events, mostly just to have fun, and hang out with friends, which is great. But, let's not forget that these kids don't get to go. The pep bands, the fans in the stands, the student sections, we won't hear those at games that we do get to have this year. So keep an eye out on that, too, for them. All right. Again, no show until next Tuesday. We're back on September the 1st. Jason Walker Show, Major Mortgage Man Cave. We are presented by Capital Collision Center. One of the first shops in the country to become manufacturer certified. Special training and equipment to be on the programs. It is important to Capital Collision Center that your vehicle is properly repaired to manufacturer repair requirements for the safety and value of your vehicle. They did it to my truck. They'll do it to your vehicle too. Capital Collision Center. We're back on Tuesday. Have yourself a great weekend. Happy birthday to me. Take care.
The Jason Walker Show is produced by the Jason Walker Media Company. Any reuse, rebroadcast, or retransmission without the express written consent of the Jason Walker Show is strictly prohibited. Just listen, watch, and enjoy.